I've been dying to have this conversation because GLP-1s are everywhere right now, from big pharma to wellness TikTok, and there's so much noise around it. Becca, the founder of Evolv, has created the first GLP-1 oral peptide, a supplement that is as good as the injectables, but accessible without prescription, natural, and has no harsh side effects. What I love about this episode is how we break down the science in a way that finally makes sense, what GLP-1 actually does in your body, and why it's not just about weight loss. We also get into the founder side of things, how she went from concept to launch, how you build in a new category that's so stigmatized, and how she's thinking about accessibility, responsibility in a space that's been both exciting and controversial. Becca, welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
You don't know me that well, but I'm very into metabolic health. So I'm really excited to have this conversation and learn more about GLP-1s, which are so hot but stigmatized right now, and just really understand, what your product does and how you came to it and so on and so forth. So before we get started though, for listeners, I know what a GLP-1 is. It might be because it's really hot in my world and maybe not someone else's. Can you just tell us what that is?
Yes. First, thank you both so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to talk to fellow entrepreneurs and builders. So GLP-1 is a hormone that exists in your body. It's a natural biological pathway, and it regulates appetite and gives you a bit of a reset as it relates to metabolic health. There's a lot of really great downstream effects of stimulating the GLP-1 pathway related to inflammation and all sorts of other things that we continue to explore every day. Cognitive health, the list goes on. But generally, that biological pathway is responsible for appetite, regulation, and satiety.
What about your background motivated you to build this product? How did Evolv come to be as a GLP-1 supplement?
It has been a long time in the making. About 2 years ago, to back up, I've spent the last 2 decades working in health and fitness.
Okay.
And one of the things that I've gotten practiced at is identifying big market gaps. I spend most of my time in early stage, high growth businesses. I love startup life and that phase of building and operating in early days. In fitness, when all of a sudden the industry started to reckon with GLP-1, there was a big conversation that started to happen about 2 years ago and a big divide in the industry. On one side, you had diet and exercise police, and on the other side were people who were open to the idea of GLP-1, either supplementation or just the idea of peptide science entering the space of metabolic health. So as we were reckoning with that, I noticed that people in my circles were injecting themselves with a diabetes medication to achieve those weight loss benefits or health benefits. Otherwise healthy people, right? That didn't have a disease indication, didn't have diabetes or obesity. And so for me, that was the big aha moment where you're like, there's a huge market for this. And there's always been a huge market for weight loss and metabolic health, but if there's something that is actually effective at achieving those weight loss outcomes, there's got to be a way to bring that solution to the masses in a preventative health way that doesn't necessarily include pharmaceutical intervention.
Yeah.
So that's around the time that I met my co-founders, Dr. Henderson, Dr. Kwang-Chul Kwan. Both Corey and Chul are some of the world's leading experts in metabolic health, genetic engineering, metabolic engineering. And so we were able to design a novel peptide that we call EV1. That peptide activates GLP-1 and GIP hormones in the body. It's a dual agonist peptide. It does that, though, in a way that's all natural. So that's the revelation that we came to in that design, was that we were able to create a chain of amino acids that is a peptide that is comprised solely of canonical amino acids, natural components that are recognized by the body. So once we had that asset, which we then protected and became proprietary, we had to develop a product that we could bring that peptide to market in. And we had the option, and we still have the option, to have a relationship with pharma and license that technology to pharma. What we wanted to do was create access. We're all very passionate about access to these solutions, to GLP-1, which we believe has immense health benefits and potential. So what we did was we took years to design a molecule or an oral delivery platform and a molecularly engineered structure that delivers that peptide to the gut orally and successfully in a way that makes it bioavailable without any synthetic material, without extreme measures, obviously without injection. And therefore, what we designed and engineered was ultimately a dietary supplement. So with that, we had explored lots of different ways to bring that to market. It took years of iterating, trial and error, but we had to find essentially a plant that we could engineer to express our peptide recombinantly. With that, we finally landed on a very successful platform in yeast, and that's our sole ingredient. So ultimately,
Interesting.
that's where we ended up. Yeah, and we
That's so
actually just
interesting.
launched.
And does it have the same effect as the shot?
It has the same effect in that it is a GLP-1 and GIP receptor agonist. I use that term reluctantly because that references a pathway in the body and a function in the body. It's natural, but what has happened is culture and companies have repurposed that in the spirit of shorthand to mean something else. And so that term has broadly been accepted as a category of drug, which it is not.
Which
to be
your
clear.
product is not.
Our product is
Yeah.
not, and also the category is not,
Okay.
right? So when someone refers to GLP-1, that can mean the biological pathway in our bodies that we own and existed long before we had GLP-1 receptor agonist pharmaceutical interventions. So while we shorthand it and say GLP-1s, that's very problematic and confusing because it leaves no room for a GLP-1 that is not a drug, which is what we are.
Got it. And I think it's just become known as a drug because it's been formulated in that format in order to be injected.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Can you just tell me how it actually works in your body? Like,
Yeah.
what about, obviously, you produce it yourself. It creates, it's what stops you from being hungry. Like, what is actually happening when you take this supplement or the shot or whatever it might be? And why do you suddenly lose hunger? And also, why does it have all of the benefits that I see everywhere? It's like suddenly, it's so much better for inflammation. It's good for your brain. What about this thing is affecting all of that inside your body? Is it purely linked to the inflammation element and then it just has the wider effect? Or, just kind of talk me through how it actually works.
Yeah. So GLP-1 and GIP are both hormones that exist in the body. There are lots of different aspects of our biology that are super interconnected, right? And there's lots of hormones in our body, cortisol, estrogen, we know them.
Yeah.
So think about this particular pathway as a lock and key metaphor. So when you eat food, some foods are more expressing of GLP-1 hormone than others, but when you eat food, your body releases the GLP-1 hormone.
When you say more expressing, do you mean that some foods like protein versus sugar create more GLP-1? Is that what that means?
What I'm referring to when I say that is it's some foods are better at creating a more sustained GLP-1
Got it.
pathway response,
Okay.
like avocados or olive oil or some caffeine products. So historically, your body produces this GLP-1 response, which I'll dive into, for a couple of minutes. And
Got
you
it.
feel full after eating for anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then you move on.
Yep.
And some foods are able, like high protein foods, high fiber foods, are able to sometimes give you that prolonged satiety because they're actively engaging the GLP-1 pathway for longer. The extension of that time frame is a matter of minutes. So, not to take down other GLP-1 supplements in the space, but if you look at ingredients like probiotics, like green tea extract, those products are effective at eliciting and extending your body's natural GLP-1 response, but we're talking about a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas our product has been molecularly engineered to have a 24-hour half-life, so you're getting that extended satiety for a period of about 24 hours.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, I'm super interested in the other benefits. Like, besides the obvious, if people need to lose weight, tell me a little bit about other benefits that people might need to use this for.
So there's still a lot of work to do on understanding and researching the downstream benefits and long-term benefits of microdosing GLP-1 or GIP. Essentially, it's a lot of it stems from activating the GLP-1 receptors elicits a regulation of blood glucose, and that process helps your body respond to insulin more effectively. So you have a better relationship with your metabolism out of the gate. Then there is a relationship with GLP-1 and inflammation, all of which have downstream effects. So things like there's cognitive benefits, there's neurological benefits that are still being discovered, mostly related to memory. There's still a lot to do in this space to really understand the full benefit, but I think what these all stem from is effectively blood sugar and insulin.
Yeah.
And you see that when you take our product or any GLP-1 drug and also wear a glucose monitor or do your blood work. And regardless of whether or not you're pursuing weight loss or if you have an experience with satiety or not, you can still benefit from activating your GLP-1 receptors because of that glucose regulation that happens. So the first thing that happens is the spikes and dips in your day are reduced. So it's muted. And that's what that, reduction in food noise that people talk about is about. And that, that has a relationship with anxiety and stress and disordered eating and snacking. And so those things obviously also impact your livelihood and health span. And so that, whether it's an immediate effect of what's happening in your body in that moment, or it's a downstream effect of constant improvement in nutrition and lifestyle, there's still just a lot to learn about it.
So essentially by having this supplement, you're kind of saying that it's a way of like microdosing through the experience you would otherwise have from taking something like a shot. Understand that they're created completely differently.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And there's a personalization aspect to our product that you don't necessarily get with a week's worth of an injection because you're getting an immense amount of material injected into your body when it's supposed to be sustained for a 7 to 10 day period. So the benefit of having something that clears your body every 24 hours also gives you this chance to know your body better and play around. And if one feels right for you, one tablet a day feels right for you, then that is something that you can continue to do for as long as you'd like. If you want to fluctuate between 1 and 2 and 3, depending on how you feel in response to the product, you can do that too. So the personalization day to day is really important. And for me personally, I've noticed after having taken this product for a year now that there's different parts of my year and my month and even my week where I react differently to the product because of what else I have going on, because our bodies are just so interconnected. So if you're having, if you're at a certain point in your cycle, or if you're having a certain stressful moment in time, like you're launching a company, then you may or may not have a different relationship with GLP-1 and the ability to personalize that.
And personalize it, obviously you can take fewer. Can you up the number of supplements you take as well within a day?
Yeah.
If you have too much food noise, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, we recommend 1 to 3 a day.
Yeah.
We've tested it at amounts that are much higher than that, but that's what we recommend on the bottle.
Got it. I take a lot of supplements. I've never heard the word biometric supplement. Like how do you even come to build something like that? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, we love that term. So we call ourselves a biomimetic supplement
Oh,
because
biomimetic. I didn't even say it right.
no, you're fine. Because it mimics your biology.
Okay.
And the reason that we wanted to lead in there was as we were building this product, we are a supplement by definition,
Yeah.
but we really wanted to differentiate from the supplement industry. And while we are part of it, what we have come to know about the supplement industry is that it's really hard to navigate. There's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of placebo, and there's a lot of products that are just ineffective.
Mhm.
And we didn't want to out of the gate have to fight as much with that reputation. It is what it is, and we need to find a way for the supplement industry to hold itself to a higher standard
Mhm.
Yeah.
from a science and efficacy perspective. But in the meantime, we'll just do that for ourselves. And so we intentionally named it a biomimetic supplement. We also, in our product, we are more effective at eliciting a response that's native to your biology. So we wanted to give people the confidence that we are category creating. This is one of one. This is an entirely new way to think about GLP-1 and supplementation.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was some of the thinking behind the name.
And because it has more of a like natural, like you said, format than say other injection shots that I'm not sure I should name,
Yeah.
but everyone knows what they are. Do you think that there are differentiating effects on your body, positive or negative?
To the drugs?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great question. The biggest differentiating impact that we've seen is related to side effects. I have to be careful with my language here.
Mhm.
But everyone knows that the biggest complaint about the pharmaceuticals is the side effects.
Yeah.
And
And also that you can lose weight too fast, which is really bad for
absolutely.
your
Mhm.
hormones.
Absolutely. And so there's two real root issues or reasons for why that happens. There are many, but the two key ones are one is the amount that you're dosing,
Mhm.
and two is the nature of the product. The amount that you're giving yourself for a week's long injection is a lot of material. And so your body is actively processing that in the first day that you inject yourself.
Yeah.
And that can be a lot. It can override and overwhelm your system. So we see people with those types of side effects coming to us looking for an alternative or relief. Things like gastroparesis, nausea, all the things. The other aspect of drugs is that they contain synthetic material.
Yep.
So parts of their design were intended for people for whom the alternative is potentially a heart attack or some sort of other major event. So they weren't designed for preventative health. They weren't designed with us in mind. And that can create side effects. Without getting too into the weeds on the receptor access of their product versus ours, essentially what we've designed as an alternative doesn't contain any synthetic material or non-natural ingredients. It doesn't give you more than you can handle. So it's 24-hour half-life. It clears your body every day, and we're only giving you the amount that you need for that day. So you don't feel that overwhelm, and your body isn't fighting against it because it doesn't, again, contain anything synthetic or any non-canonical amino acids or anything that your body would recognize as unnatural.
That's crazy.
So that also means then there is no nausea related to it.
Not that we've heard.
Mhm.
There could be,
Yeah.
right? Anytime you are shifting anything related to your metabolism, even if you start a new probiotic or you start a new multivitamin, you could experience that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So your body sometimes needs a time period to adjust
Mhm.
depending on what you're working through.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it's out of the question, but
Mhm.
it would be more related to the metabolic reset that you're giving your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do the results compare?
So what we've seen is that the results are fairly comparable to the other GLP-1s that exist. For our product, all of our early adopters on average lost about 9 pounds in 3 weeks.
Wow. That's a good amount. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a
it's an
lot.
effective product. It's an effective product. And people are finding ways to use it not just for weight loss, as we've
Yeah.
discussed, right?
Mhm.
Microdosing for health
Mhm.
benefits is actually really important for people as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is there a specific type of person that you recommend this for, or
Yeah, we recommend it for anybody who desires any amount of weight loss.
okay.
That's I mean,
Yeah.
I say that jokingly, but that's truly what it is. It's really not gatekept
Mhm.
anymore. That's the idea, is that you don't have to go to your doctor or a specialist and convince them the 10 pounds that you want to lose, even though you don't qualify from a BMI perspective, is enough to justify giving you a prescription.
Mhm.
That's really, a big piece of it, is making sure that people have access to it if they want it, without having to jump through those hoops and without having to involve anyone else in that conversation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's your body. It's your decision.
I read somewhere that your insulin resistance gets worse as you get older,
Yeah.
and that's why it becomes so much harder to lose weight.
Mhm.
So I can really see, like, the value of something like this. Like, if you feel like after you had a baby, like, you can't get your, like, body back, or, to everyone's own choice about it. It shouldn't be so stigmatized, but you should be able to, like, make these choices about your body and get that support. Whereas in, like, when I was trying to lose weight post-baby, it was a huge stressor on my life because
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't achieve it, you know?
Yeah. God, I'm
Um,
so passionate about this topic. It's really important that people understand that there's so many reasons why those last 5 or 10 pounds or more might be hard to lose.
yeah.
It's not a question of willpower. It's not that you're just not motivated enough. There are factors that impact us:
Mhm.
postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, stress factors in our 20s and 30s and 40s and beyond, that should not need an explanation
Mhm.
Mhm.
or a justification. You don't owe that to anybody. You
Yeah.
can say, I want my skin to look brighter and better, so I'm going to buy these beauty products. You can, do other things in your life to supplement your needs. So why not weight loss? Why haven't we found this
Yeah.
effective
Mhm.
peptide science to be able to get us there?
Yeah.
But, now we have.
And one of the safest ways, it sounds like, to lose weight.
Yeah.
So okay, I want to talk a little bit more about the business. So it's you partnered with two co-founders that are scientists.
Yes.
So tell us what you bring to the table as the third co-founder.
I'm not a scientist or a doctor. It's my disclaimer. No, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been building and operating businesses in health and fitness for the last 2 decades.
Mhm.
I bring the strategy, the
Mhm.
go-to-market expertise. I run our supply chain. I oversee our marketing, everything else, accounting, legal. So we're a really great team, or triangle or trifecta, between the science and the brilliant design of
Mhm.
all of our technology and everything else we needed to bring it to market. But at our core, we're a biotech company, and
Mhm.
we were and always will have that beginning and those roots. But now we've transitioned into the consumer space as a CPG company, and so that requires someone with that expertise.
And going into something like that, like, what kind of testing and validation do you create to, like, prove these things of saying, like, you would have had to test that someone lost 9 pounds within 3 weeks. There's
Exactly.
so many different expectations around a supplement like this. Like, what validation happens?
Exactly, yeah. We've done endless studies on our product over the last 2.5 years.
Mhm.
We've primarily tested the safety of it, both in vivo and in vitro. We've done a number of efficacy studies to both measure the efficacy of the peptide and in its receptor activating capability, also the efficacy of it as a finished product.
Mhm.
We are in the middle of our first IRB approved human clinical study that tests the efficacy of the product using a third party entity,
Mhm.
and that will also include a number of blood draws and biomarkers. Yeah, so we are obsessed with testing. Obviously, I'm surrounded by scientists all day, every day.
Mhm.
So how we do our validation is critically important to everything we do.
And so you just launched a couple months ago. So what's like the go-to-market plan? Are we going to be seeing you everywhere in just a few months? Like, what's the plan?
I hope.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we launched thinking that we would be talking to everyone else
hmm
who hasn't had experience with the pharmaceuticals. The GLP-1 curious, we call them.
Mm-hmm.
The primarily early adopter is the GLP-1 experienced. So someone who has experience with the injections and was dissatisfied or had a great experience and lost the weight and doesn't want to rebound, it doesn't want a drug, et cetera, et cetera.
hmm
So it's proven to us in these early days that we're a really nice complement to the pharmaceuticals out there and that we can kind of coexist and serve different needs and populations, which is exciting.
hmm
We've also, discovered that, as you do, right, in the first couple of months, you do so much learning and so much listening and data. What we've really been excited by is the amount of success that people are having and the amount of response that they've come back to us with. Like, thank you so much. That's very gratifying and rewarding for us at these early days
Mhm.
to see that kind of feedback right away. Two of the trickiest aspects are education and the stigma. So we've had to do a large amount of educating around what we are, what a GLP-1 is, why our product works and exists. And, we're also fighting the stigma
Mhm.
associated with GLP-1 and with weight loss. A lot
Yeah.
of people, we're a lot of people's dirty little secret.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So where we want to lean into word of mouth and influencer, sometimes we can't because people don't want to talk about it, but they love it.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
we're navigating that.
You have quite the challenge ahead.
Yes.
How do you see that changing though? Like, I think it's already changed so much. It was like only the celebrities were on it. Now, like, I have several friends in my group of friends who are on it.
Yeah.
And it's still kept pretty private within those communities. But the issue around the stigma is the patriarchy who told us, like, we need to look a certain way to feel happy. But, like, I feel that. I feel so much better in myself when I am my normal weight, right? So, like,
Yeah.
do you think that is going to change
I hope
over
so.
time?
I really hope so. I think you also get maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's a generational thing, but I've experienced getting to a certain age and beyond that age and then seeing that my girlfriends and I just talk about everything. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
no topic off limits.
Yeah.
And that is really refreshing. And I get a lot of my advice and ideas from them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can also say, like, I have this going on. Do you have this going on? What's happening? And so, you feel less alone in some
Mhm.
of those really hard things that we go through,
Yeah.
especially as women.
Yeah.
I hope that people feel comfortable saying, here's what I'm using, here's what's working for me. And hopefully, the fact that it does have broad reaching health benefits beyond weight loss, and it's not as much about lose 50 pounds in a year.
Mhm.
It's more, understand your biology, understand the potential for peptide science to change how your body functions and potentially improve your health span long term. And that will make people more open to talking about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
And are you guys thinking about like other products, other categories? Are you focused on this? This is the company.
We never really wanted to just be the GLP-1 company.
Mhm.
We're a peptide company, but we're also primarily focused on oral delivery of biologics. So what we have in our science and in our proprietary technology is never before seen technology. And it's truly groundbreaking, truly novel. And it has the ability to deliver small molecules, peptides, and proteins orally and bioavailable in a bioavailable way without the traditional methods of getting access to receptors. So, to give you a little bit of context, other oral formulations use synthetic materials to liquidize your membrane in your gut and your intestines to get access to the receptors on the other side. So, what that does is first of all, typically you have to take those oral formulations on an empty stomach to avoid toxins and opportunistic pathogens from getting access to those receptors. But also you're damaging your gut, and there's downstream effects of that. What we've designed is more targeted technology that doesn't require that same approach. So we have the potential to change how oral delivery of biologics looks more broadly in nutraceuticals and in pharmaceuticals. And so we're really excited about that and the application and implication of that.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Very curious what other things you will solve.
Yeah.
I know you
And
probably can't say it here,
You
but
guys know this, but peptides are all the rage right now.
Mhm.
And people are starting to experiment with how they feel when they're taking BPC 157 or all the peptides.
Mhm.
And
I'm a
some,
big fan.
yeah.
You were talking about it.
Yeah.
It's illegal though, right?
I don't know, illegal. It's only approved in research
Mhm.
environments and doses.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited to work on things that live at the intersection of solving for health span
Mhm.
and vanity, because those markets are massive.
Mhm.
So metabolic health, cardiometabolic health, weight loss, massive market. The next market that we're excited to tackle is hair health.
Mm.
So we have a product that is launching early next year that will help bring the aspects of GHK copper, which is a hair health copper peptide, to the masses
Wow.
through our formulation.
So like hair growth or like anti-gray?
Oh, growth.
Growth.
Growth and
Wow.
health.
Amazing.
Scalp and hair health.
That'll be
and growth.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants their hair to be better.
And especially the postpartum, your hair falls out. So
I know.
What about somebody who wants a lot of the other benefits outside of weight loss? Would you say this maybe doesn't make sense for them? What if I have really bad anxiety and I want to decrease inflammation in my gut, or there's or I want to feel more energy or cognition. I know insulin resistance is going to help with that. Do you think that
Yeah.
this supplement could still appeal to them?
Yes, 1000%. 1000%. I take Evolv GLP-1 every day, and most days I'm not actively trying to lose weight. The benefits that I get from it, again, this is N of one, anecdotal.
Yeah.
The benefits that I get from it are largely not anti-anxiety, but it is a reduction in stress.
Mm.
So I feel calmer throughout the day. And I know that that's a function of my blood glucose levels because I've worn a CGM and I've seen how my body behaves when I don't take the product. So it gives me that reset that I need to feel stable, more stable throughout the day.
Right.
There's also an element of using it in combination with other things. So my whole philosophy is you should try whatever you want to try and see how it works for you. I've tried everything. I'm sure you all have too. Magnesium, iron, probiotics, all the things. So it's important that we not just give people a directive, but give them self-empowerment and self-advocacy tools and the ability to try different combinations and cocktails of supplements to achieve what they're looking for, because everyone is so personal and so unique and so different.
Yeah.
And one aspect of this for me was related to my perimenopause. So I decided perimenopause for me was really challenging. Decided to try HRT, wasn't working, but happened to work more and better for me in combination with GLP-1.
What's HRT?
Hormone replacement therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. And then so for someone who is taking the product, how long until they feel results? Well, it says 3 weeks, so I mean, I'm sure it's fairly immediate.
It's fairly immediate. We hesitate to say that because everybody's body is different and you can have a different response based on your receptor density in your gut and a million other things. There's a lot of reasons why it might take someone a full 30 days to feel the benefits and feel the full metabolic reset. And for other people, you feel it the first day. So, and the effects are totally different. For some people, you'll notice by day 30 or over time that you have consumed slightly less calories over the course of that month and therefore have lost a few pounds. For other people, it really calms that snacking impulse because it immediately resets in day one their blood glucose activity. So, for some people, we hear, uh, I didn't have a need to snack, and I'm a snacker. I 3 o'clock snack, and I went from lunch to dinner and didn't even think about it. And that's, I think, the biggest way that people lose weight on a GLP-1 is the reduction in that
Mhm.
snacking impulse. You don't necessarily feel less hungry at meals. You don't have a distaste or disregard for food. It's not as extreme as people sometimes make it out to be. It's very subtle. But what it is it's just a quieting of the food noise. You're not always thinking about when am I going to have my next meal? What's my next snack going to look like? You're not running to the pantry and grabbing a bag of chips or a bag of
Mhm.
pretzels. You're being intentional and thoughtful with your nutrition.
Okay, another business question over here. So this topic is obviously it's a bit of a gold rush. It's going to be like the way people were with marijuana. And so how are you going to handle the competitors that come in, or maybe the people that are claiming the companies that are claiming to be something, and that you check the ingredients and they're not that?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, rising tide lifts all ships, right? So the more awareness there is around GLP-1, the
Mhm.
better it is for products that do work.
Mhm.
And the great thing about our product is that it's impossible to replicate. It can't be reverse engineered. It's a novel ingredient and it's
Mhm.
proprietary. So
Mhm.
we're a bit protected in that regard. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be copycats
Mhm.
and people looking to take advantage of consumers. And the best we can do is just continue to educate our customers and consumers broadly about what to look for
Mhm.
in a GLP-1.
With something that is so stigmatized, like, how do you prepare yourself for the fact that it's gonna come with negative and positive comments, Like, I'm so I'm less and less thoughtful as I get older in the way I show up online because you just, like, care less.
Yeah.
But, like, whenever I have a business idea, I'm like, "Okay, like, what's the pushback gonna be on this?" And this is
Mm.
definitely something because we are talking about weight loss. Like, how do you guys think about that element?
It's a huge responsibility. I mean, you're talking to someone about something that they feel deeply about, and
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
is kind of an intimate topic, feeling wanting to feel better in your own skin, wanting to look better naked, like, those are hard things to talk about.
Yeah.
So, I feel the burden of that, and we're really careful in our language choices and in how we communicate with our customers. We're really intentional in our choices of what content we put
Mhm.
out there. But at the end of the day, the big takeaway is that we're not a one-stop shop. We're not a quick fix. It's all we're doing is using and leveraging aspects of cutting-edge science to give people a tool to add to their overall wellness toolbox and use how they see fit. And everyone should be seeing a functional medicine doctor
Mhm.
and have access to that level of care because the healthcare industry does not help us. They're great at making you better when you're sick. They're not great at helping you not get sick.
Mhm.
So it's really important for people to know that they need to self-advocate and they need to find what their toolbox looks like because
Mhm.
it can't just be GLP-1 receptor activation. It can't just be I'm on a GLP-1 and there you know that. You have
Mhm.
to be thoughtful about your nutrition. You have to be thoughtful about what your other supplementation looks like if you have deficiencies. You have to be thoughtful about your movement and your motivation for your movement. So, there's a whole toolbox of things that you need to have.
And for people who can't afford a doctor, because obviously it's quite expensive or it can be,
I
like,
know.
do you have any advice on what they could do?
It's so hard. I think the one thing you can always do is press your doctor.
Mhm.
Everyone has a relationship with their physician, and you can always either pursue a second opinion, ask your doctor for a referral to a second opinion, or press them. I've even been in conversations with my doctors and said, you ordered me this blood panel, but it's missing cholesterol. I want a cholesterol test. But the only way that I was going to know that is because I talk to my girlfriends, I read everything, I listen to everything, and I take in that information and I ask myself, what does that mean for me? How does that affect me? I'm a big trial and error person. I discovered that I was lactose intolerant by eating things, feeling bad, eating different things, feeling good, and deducing that to myself. And then I just started saying that to myself, right? I don't even know that that's a fact. I've never gotten a lactose test, but when I drink lactose, I feel like crap. So,
Yeah.
I think that's all there is, right? Is giving people that sense of like, you don't have to trust what an authority figure says is right for you. You can always press and you can always say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but I still don't feel right. No, something's off and I know it and I'm going to trust myself.
I mean, even especially as a woman, like the data says that you're probably going to be ignored
I know.
on the first, second, and like third instance until you keep pushing. So I think, and that's what's so good about the internet and bad because not everything is true, but like you can be really, really curious and you can learn to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. It's so aggravating. I mean, we could go down a whole rabbit hole on that path, right? Because I've also experienced that. It's been so hard. The healthcare system has been so hard to navigate decade after decade, like misdiagnosis, ignored, told something's in my head, told me something that is stress is not stress, right? So it's so hard.
And what has your biggest challenge been to date on bringing this product to market?
Gosh, that's a great question. It's just,
I mean, we can-
all we have is challenge. Right?
Welcome.
Yeah. I think that one of the biggest challenges is there has been that we wouldn't let the product go to market until we knew it was really going to work. And that meant raising more money, more time in R&D, worried about missing opportunity by not being in market, lots and lots of stress. Yeah, I think that, blessing and a curse, right? Like we just refused and we had some hard conversations where just like anybody, we were like, should we launch it? And for like a minute, you're like, let's just launch it because we really need to get it out there. And we're running out of runway and we need to, and then at the end of the day, it's just like, no, we wouldn't be able to, at least for us as co-founders and everyone else, we wouldn't be able to live with ourselves if we didn't do it differently and didn't really stay true to who we are, which is efficacy above all else, right?
And is it hard with so many other brands out there making extreme claims who like don't have testing or a medical background, who are just like saying insane things? Like, is it frustrating to like stay true to your like values of representing something you've built in the way that is true to it?
It's definitely frustrating, but I sleep better at night knowing that we're honest at every opportunity. And that's all we are. We would never be dishonest about what we've built or what it's capable of. So there's a piece that comes with that. And if that means that we have more education and more competition and more to overcome and the growth is slower as a result or something like that, then that's okay. What's more important is that we're helping humans feel better and not hurting.
Yeah.
Can you say how much you raised?
Yeah. We've raised $5.8 million to date.
Okay.
And
pre-seed, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. We're really excited about our cap table, which is primarily biotech investors, and saw the and also helped us validate the technology and the assets that we have. And just excited to be finally building and out in market.
Did you always think like, I want to build a venture-backed business, or was it just a requirement of the fact that you had to spend years in process?
No, we knew that we would have to raise money because of what we had ahead of us. Yeah. I mean, we had what we thought was years, but ended up actually being only about a year and a half of real R&D post-raise.
Yeah, in that industry, you have to raise.
I've raised money in other businesses at every stage, in my, at least as I can remember, a lot of different kind sizes, right? Different size rounds, and have had failures and successes, and some big wins and some big losses. And I just really feel strongly that the investors that you partner with need to be, especially at these kind of later stages in the business, need to really be like-minded. It's a challenge. You guys, I know just as well as I do, right?
Yeah.
You got to really choose them wisely. And it's hard. It's not, you find a lot of investors don't have operating backgrounds. So you're lucky to find one that is as passionate as you about building and operating and understands some of the challenges of operating and leading. But in a lot of cases, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's also
Yeah.
really difficult to be like picky with money when you need it and you're a first-time founder. Like
Totally.
people used to say that to me, like, just only take money from the right people. And I was like, I just need money right now.
Right.
And I got very, very lucky. Not necessarily that they were all operators, but like if they weren't, they didn't bother me.
Yeah.
And if they were, it was value. But you see so many instances where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And especially in a space
It's
like
rare
this.
that you
like
get
to
to
have,
like choose between many
Exactly.
fighting over you.
Yeah,
That's true.
it depends. But
First time.
totally. And have you seen like your relationship with health? It sounds like you were already at the forefront of like thinking, how to hack your own body depending on like how you felt when you drank lactose or something. So you were already very mindful.
Yeah.
But as you've taken this and maybe worn a glucose monitor and seen really how insulin resistance affects so many aspects of your life, has your relationship with food and health changed?
I think it's changed both through my experience with this product and just through being another few years older.
Yeah.
Because I think with every year you get older, your body changes all the time. So it's constantly just keeping you guessing, and there's discovery and confusion, and you see yourself in new ways through new lenses all the time. Again, the biggest change for me with this product and with building this business has been seeing and being disappointed in how the fitness industry was so resistant to the possibility that peptide science could be impactful. That was really shocking to me. So I think that's been the biggest change, is that I feel somewhat on a mission to right that ship and represent the industry in a way that shows that we're able to embrace new technology and new cutting edge science innovation, and not resort to calling GLP-1s shortcuts and shaming people, and being more open.
It's so hard as someone who lives in LA. Like, I have such a different perception of it because everybody is, definitely has like tried NAD or some sort of peptide. So there's already like an understanding around it.
Yeah.
But you really do see, like, as you go out of that bubble, that there's still so much shame around it.
Yeah. I mean, New York, LA, and Miami are their own universes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's a whole other world out there, guys.
That was a great episode. I feel like I learned a ton, honestly. So tell us your hot take.
Okay, my hot take is going to be related to something that we talked about, and it's education. It's not necessarily education around GLP-1, but the hot take is, what is happening with our education? That's the hot take, right? As a parent and as a founder in a space where I've had to do a lot of educating about our biology to other humans, it leaves me wondering, why don't we know this stuff? What is happening with education? So I guess that's my call to action to the powers that be. Can we get an education audit in this country? Can we figure out what we're teaching our kids and the next generation of kids who are going to grow up with AI and robots, and they're maybe not going to need to learn pre-calculus? And can we just like rebalance what we're teaching them? Can we make sure they know macroeconomics and they know about financial health and maybe cut some of the other stuff out, and also know about their bodies and know about how to be self-advocating and know about how a mortgage works, right? Like, where's all that information?
I couldn't
100%
agree more.
agree.
I didn't even learn about like saving $1 until I was like 24. It's like
Even-
somebody could have
even
told me that.
then, even that's
Yeah.
young. in
But even
our
about
day
the
and age.
body too,
Yeah.
like what everything about it. I mean, I don't think I really learned too much. I mean, my parents were healthy, but I didn't learn about it in the education system. So I
Yeah.
think body and finance, huge.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do think that space is just like no one wants to touch it.
Mhm.
You know, like we're talking about the youth. So
Yeah.
they just do the same thing. And which is another reason why it should change, because they're doing the same thing that
Yeah.
they did years ago, which is not working.
I
Especially,
love that hot take,
yeah,
though.
it was really good.
That's a standalone TikTok clip for sure. Okay. Well,
That was
thank you.
amazing.
That was really good.